Find it at Westside Decorating Center. Morning, welcome to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show. Nice to have you with us on this Wednesday morning, the 26th of March already. My goodness gracious. And we'll have open phones this hour, 989-752-6111. Always fun, never know where the conversation's going to go. So there you go. All right. We might as well get started, and we have Scott on the line from Saginaw to get us started. Scott, good morning.
Well, we know where this is going to go.
I sort of do.
Well, I wanted to talk about this reporter who supposedly received classified information about targets over in Afghanistan or wherever they were talking, Yemen. Yeah, and now I want to remind people first, this is the same reporter that said Donald Trump was calling the soldiers suckers and losers. He was the only one out of, 36 people that actually heard this phantom phrase. So now he's coming up saying that these guys were giving classified information. Not only that, they had a hearing on it. And what I noticed quite amazing is not one piece of evidence was brought forward. Not one text message that was brought forward was redacted, but every one of them was shown in their entirety. So where's the classified information at?
That's the question is just how classified was it. However, having said that, Scott, you have to accept the fact this was a gross mistake. Even if it didn't have classified information, he never should have got it. And Mike Waltz admitted it. He admitted that he did it, and you move on. At least, I mean, there's a thing. When someone in this administration does something stupid like that, they're not afraid to stand up and say, I did it. I shouldn't have done it. Now, how much classified information was in there? I have no idea. But all I know is he shouldn't have been on the list.
No, he shouldn't have been on the list. But if you read any of these text messages, it was stuff that said, like, way to go, Pete, you and your team's doing a great job. And then there'd be an emoji of a thumbs up with a heart by it. Come on, man.
Well, let's also be honest. Those are the only ones you've seen. We don't know what else there is.
Exactly, Art. Because if they had stuff that was classified, they at least would have showed the text message with the redacted part of it.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
I know it. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you, Scott. And this guy has said that he will release more of them. Well, we'll see. I just have to say to myself, regardless of what was in it, it was ineptitude. It never should have happened, regardless of what was in it. And those are the kinds of things that worry you once in a while. I mean, let's face it. Let's be honest about it. We don't live in a perfect world on either side of the aisle.
No, but again, these were text messages between some people with little thumbs up emojis, whereas under the Biden administration, we had a spy balloon for 8 days.
Yeah, I understand that. But
which one was the bigger classified problem?
I don't know. That's an interesting question because we don't know what else was in this stuff. I don't know. All I know is it shouldn't have happened, and they need to fix it. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Art, and way to go, Spirit here. Let's go all the way through here
you
again.
Got it, brother.
To the Memorial Cup. All right, man. I'll talk to you.
Take care. Bye-bye now. And we're going to head out to Sheridan and talk to Carol this morning. Hello, Carol.
Hi, on a sunny morning. I wanted to remind people in 2012, this was the date. It was 17 degrees and all the fruit froze.
Oh, yes. And that was after a warm spell, wasn't it? Because they had all budded.
Yeah, the first Cynthia was out. Well, the blossoms were out.
Yeah. Yep.
And how much different, a few years make. But even though it's been cold, it's a blessing not to have it. Yeah, it got down, I think, 17 degrees. Our friends have an orchard by New Era. And it got down to 17 degrees after all the blossoms were out.
It took care of the apples and the cherries, if I remember right.
And the peaches.
And the peaches, yeah. All of the fruit-bearing plants had problems.
All of our goodies, but I just want, and also the Valdez sunk, a couple days ago. In
history, yeah.
Up in Prince William Sound too.
Yeah, that was a nasty one.
Yeah, that was on Monday.
Yep.
So
very good.
Whatever. But that's so much different than it was that year when all the blossoms were out.
Oh, glad for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you much. You guys take care.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Yeah, bye-bye.
And we'll say hi to Russ in Bay City. Russ, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Did you see where Tim Walz compared Republicans not buying Bud Light to Democrats firebombing Tesla dealerships?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I don't have much use for Tim Walz. He seems to be a little off to me. He seems to be a little off to me.
He's not right. I just wonder if he, I don't know. Anyway, but I just thought that's disgusting.
Well, listen.
I mean, it really is. It's
and that's what some areas of politics have been.
Half a step out of line, it's compared to Democrats taking 8 miles.
Yep, it's
it's
what politics has become today. It's unfortunate. It really is.
This is ridiculous. You want to compare? I agree with the other guy about you want to compare this little leak of the email or whatever to the spy balloon that Biden allowed across our country.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Well, the bottom line is both of them shouldn't have happened.
The bottom line is it's the difference. The matter of degree.
Well, I understand. You can frame it that way, but the bottom line is it shouldn't have happened.
No, but I'm saying
Period.
That it's interesting that in this argument, matters of degree matter not.
I don't think they do, because here's why.
And I think that's completely biased.
Well, you're welcome to that opinion.
How are you going to compare someone jaywalking to someone being a serial rapist?
I'm not
They're
comparing them
wrong.
that way. I'm not.
They're both doing wrong.
I'm not. Well, all right. I'm not going to argue that point. That's ridiculous.
I mean, that's the point.
Neither of them should have happened. That's the bottom line.
Neither of them should have happened, but the degree of wrong.
Well, yeah, because you want to
matters.
try and justify it, because
No,
the
no,
degree
no,
is
no.
different. There's
I'm
no
not
justification
justifying
for it.
I'm just talking about the publicity of it.
Well, yeah, okay, I understand that. I understand
That's
the
what I'm
publicity
talking
part,
about.
but it doesn't excuse the justification. There's no justification for
No,
that
I'm
kind of
not
screw up.
justifying what happened. I'm talking about the difference in the press coverage of
you're
it.
trying to mitigate it, and
No.
I understand that.
I'm not, though.
Well, you
I've
are.
never made one statement about it being okay for what they did. What I'm saying is the way the press covers it, they're making it equal, if not worse, than things that Biden did. I mean, or any other president for that matter.
Yeah, I
And
understand
it's always for Trump. It's the worst thing ever. Oh my God!
No, that's always the
that
case.
was-
Yeah, that's
was
always the
Hitler.
case. Yeah.
And that's just, I don't know. It's gotten really ridiculous.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Fair enough. Good enough, Russ.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye now. We'll take a break. Come back with more calls on this open line hour of the Art Lewis Show.
The Gick Nursery and Garden Center.
Democrats, I guess I should say, I'm thinking, are acting. Let us not forget about Hillary's server
Yeah.
or the boxes, or boxes of things that was in Biden's garage and stuff. And to me, that's more serious than this one incident. Even though I agree it was totally wrong, it should have never happened. But let's not get amnesia about what's happened in the past.
Of course, be careful, because the Democrats will remind you that there was boxes of stuff in Mar-a-Lago, too.
Oh, absolutely they will. I know that for sure. But I'm just saying, what I'm saying is this just a continuous back and forth.
It is.
And
Yes.
let's just get on with trying to do what we can do for the country and for
Amen.
the Americans. Yep.
Amen.
And that's all I have to say.
All right, Deb.
So,
Thanks.
all right. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. You bet.
All right.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
And in Bay City, we have Al this morning. Good morning, Al.
Morning, Arthur. I wonder if you could help me out. I'm trying to remember the guy that you worked with a couple years ago. That's wife worked for CMU. Do you remember his name?
Yeah. Pat Johnson.
What was his name again?
Pat Johnson. He did sports and did on-air stuff.
Okay. Well, I couldn't remember his name.
Well, that's it. That's who he is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care. Bye-bye now. And here is Paul in Saginaw. Paul, good morning to you.
Morning, Art. Art, I think that Waltz either has to go or be suspended without pay because something has to be done punitive here.
There should be some accountability. Yes, I agree. There should be some accountability.
There's got to be some accountability. Yep.
Well, however, I do think there should be accountability, but I do give him credit for saying, "Hey, it was me."
Right. At least he admitted his mistake,
Yeah.
and that's positive right there.
Yeah, you're right.
So, well, that's just my feeling on it, and that's about all I got to say unless you got any more.
Nope, that's it. Good enough.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye
Bye-bye.
now. And we're going to find Mark out in Mount Pleasant. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing well. Hope you are.
100 days now without representation in the state of BC with the vacant seat. Where do I go to get a refund on my state taxes since I'm not having representation in Bay County?
Well, you don't live there, though, do you?
Yeah, I do.
You live in Bay County?
Well, kind of Bay County. It's Hampton. It's like Hampton / Bay
Oh, okay.
County.
Oh, well, you are. Yeah, you were represented by her then. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you don't go anywhere.
How do I get
You know the answer.
I hear you.
Quite bigger question. The bigger question is, how do we get the governor off her duff to do something about it? And the reason it's not being done, at least from where I sit, is because she is afraid that if she calls for a special election, the Democrats could lose, and that would change the control in the Senate.
Correct.
So that is why she's not doing it.
Right. A lot of people get upset about tariffs, especially on the left side. But did you know in the state of Michigan, Governor Whitmer, not the trash, but the stuff coming in from Canada, like iron and car waste and stuff, 35 cents per ton is what we were charging. She's now raised it to $5 per ton over the next couple years. That's a tariff.
Well, actually, they call it a fee. It's a dumping fee, and you know what? I'm glad. Why do we have to take? Why do we have to take all that Canadian trash when they got a lot more land than we do, and fewer people on that land? Can't tell me they can't find a hole in the ground to put their own garbage.
Yeah, why are we even taking it anyways?
Exactly. I mean, that to me, that's the bottom line. You know, why are we doing it? I've never been able to understand that. Never been able to understand that.
Do you see the left right now as a percolating party? And what I mean by that is there's nobody really. We had the last cup of Joe, I'll say that, and it wasn't very good. So now we're percolating thoughts and ideas on the left, but nobody's coming to the top just quite yet.
Well, yeah, the two that have risen to the top, I say bring it on, because they'll never succeed. Bernie Sanders and AOC seem to be the rising stars right now of the party, and to me that would take the party in the totally wrong direction. But who am I? I mean, that's not my call. But right now they're rudderless. I mean, they haven't. It doesn't seem to me that they've learned the lesson of the election, and that is they didn't talk about the issues the American people wanted to hear about, and they're still not. They name-called, They did a lot of that, and they talked about trans, and they talked about all kinds of things, everything but what the American public wanted to hear. And they're still not doing it. So more power to them. You know what? You keep doing that, and you keep losing.
I think the midterms, if the Democrats don't pick up seats, I think that's when the party will change directions.
Well, I think you're right, because if they don't pick up seats in the midterm, which typically is when a party picks up seats, then they really have some soul searching to do.
Yeah.
But by the same token, Republicans are waiting to see results from Trump. Economic results.
Yeah.
And a lot of what happens in the midterms is going to be governed by what happens in the economy between now and then.
Manufacturing ticked up 0.7 though, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign. Good things are happening, but it's it's still. You have to remember this. You can have all of those numbers and all that data. The only data the average voter cares about is the data on the price tag when they go into the supermarket or stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
All right, sir.
All right, Mark. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye-bye now. 989-752-6111. Far be it from me to tell the Democratic Party how they should win, but just seems to me, as an observer, that they haven't learned the lessons of the last election yet. And if they don't learn those lessons, they're going to be in trouble. All right, let's see who we have here. Joe is in Bay City. Joe, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Arthur. I haven't talked to you in a little while. How you doing?
Doing well. Hope you are.
Good. Not too bad. Hey, a couple of little things here. I'll mention, in my opinion, is the Musk situation and the Trump with breaking down the government a little bit. And people going crazy. I agree. Too bad we don't have a scalpel, but we have to have a chainsaw. And, a senator from Utah a couple of weeks ago was on one of the morning shows, and they asked him about it. And he said, us in Congress have not done our job for over 20 years. If we would have been doing our job for 20 years, we could have had a scalpel all the time.
Sure.
Now, it's got so far out of hand, Trump's got to use a chainsaw, and people are going crazy. And I'll tell you what's scary, in my opinion, Art, is that so far they're just going after the government. But, if they're trying to balance the budget or keep the debt from growing, eventually they're going to have to go to other areas like entitlements. And the American people that are on entitlements, they if you mention freeze your amount you get for a year or two, they go crazy.
Yeah, here's my opinion of that, and I'll see what you think about it. Whatever changes are made to Social Security, and let's be honest about it, there needs to be changes to Social Security or it isn't going to survive.
Absolutely.
Will not impact current recipients. And the reason I say that is the older population is too big a voting bloc. So I don't believe I don't believe any changes that they'll make to Social Security will impact me, for example, or you if you collect, but will impact future generations. And I think one of the things you will see is an increase in the retirement age to catch up with the actuarial tables to some degree. You might see a reduction of an elimination of the cap at which you no longer have to pay into Social Security. I think you're going to see a number of those kinds of changes, but I don't believe they're going to touch the benefits of those of us who are already receiving.
Well, I don't either, Art, but I'll tell you what, that's the Democrats now are spreading the word that it will, and a good example
well,
is
that
right
they're living in the fear world. They want to scare you to death. That's their politics right now.
Let me give you an example. That was on CBS News last night, and they had this woman. She was, I don't know if she was collecting yet or not. Couldn't tell for sure on her age, but she believes that Trump wants to get rid of Social Security.
But see, that's just scare tactics.
I know, but the problem is, Art, that CBS is playing this. They're actually putting that out there on the news and knowing that's not true, but they let her go out there and say, Trump's going to take my Social Security away from me.
But all they did was put her opinion out there.
But you know what? It spreads like cancer sometimes.
It does, but the fact is it isn't going to happen. So, I mean, it's this is one of the lessons they haven't learned in the last election. They tried to scare everybody with all kinds of words and terms and names, and they lost. And they're still doing it. They haven't learned.
They haven't learned a thing.
Which is okay by me.
Let me have a real quick on two other quick items.
Real quick.
I have a message for our governor. As soon as you get the damn roads fixed, maybe you can get my damn senator on the ballot.
I think you ought to get the senator on the ballot first. Should have been already. Should have been already.
And the second thing is, I want to refer to one of your callers that called in a couple of weeks ago or so, and I'm not going to call anybody
Real
by
quick.
their name.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, he called our president an a-hole.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
And that person should be on the air apologizing to the people that are listening to your show.
Yeah, it's exactly like I said. That party hasn't learned their lesson yet. So,
Well,
all right,
and that
I got to
person
run.
did that.
Joe, got to go.
Okay,
Take
all
care.
right.
Bye-bye now. We'll be back with more.
Anthony Hudson. What do we know about him? Does he sound like he's someone we might want to pursue towards governor? Have we heard anything?
I haven't heard a thing about him.
Okay, is he?
Don't know him. Don't know
someone?
him. Can't tell you anything about him, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
The only
Any way
one
we
I've
can
met.
Possibly get him on.
Well, eventually
Maybe have a question or two with him?
Eventually we will have them all on.
Okay.
But I don't know who he is or what he's from or where he's from, so we'll find out.
Okay. Yeah, he's. I've seen him on the social media a lot, and he talks a lot about wanting to be governor. So
Well, there's
I
probably
just
a lot of
wondered,
people
you know-
doing that right now. So
yeah, I'm sure there is, but I was just wondering if what.
I don't know a thing about him, but I'll try and find out.
Okay, well that sounds good. Well, hopefully we can hear him on there.
Good enough, Dan. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Take
Art.
care. Bye-bye now. And in Bay City, we have Sean this morning. Good morning, Sean.
Hey, good morning, Art. Hope you're well and doing great.
Same to you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Hey, just a couple quick comments here, kind of on what people have been talking about and stuff. With that group text that got out, I'm curious how many people have actually read the transcript because it's actually a big nothing burger. But what is great about it is that you got to see that what they say on the outside is the same attitudes they're having on the inside. And to me, that's encouraging. Now, that bozo, that
Let me stop just for a second there, because I would agree with you on that, as long as we both agree it shouldn't have happened.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, that's fine then.
Let's take a look
We're
at
good.
the reason why it did happen.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, that guy got in there. It was a guy that wasn't supposed to be in there that got on the group desk. He finagled his way in. Somebody dropped the ball and let him in there, and he leaked it all out. I mean, that's
Well,
what
Michael
happened.
Walsh leaked it out. He said he did.
Yeah,
He's already
and,
admitted it.
Yes, and that dude, I mean, take a look into that guy. Whew. Anyway, so it's just interesting. And then all these people attacking Elon and stuff, you know, they put painting Nazi on there. Have they ever heard of Kristallnacht?
Yeah.
You know what the Nazis did? You know what Kristallnacht was?
What?
They should check it out because that's exactly what they're doing, even though they're calling the other people Nazis, which is really funny. So
the thing is, as I've said, till I'm blue in the face this hour, they haven't learned their lesson. That's what lost them the election to start with. They weren't talking about issues. They were just name-calling and fear-mongering. And they haven't changed.
I just didn't buy any Bud Light, you know. I didn't burn down the factory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And think about it. That's how these
I know it.
people operate.
I know it.
The next thing I got for you is I'm 52, and for the last 52 years, the Republicans are pushing grandma off the cliff and taking her Social Security, kind of what you're saying. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And as far as people being upset about saving money in Elon, are you kidding me? Look up any Google review at any government agency. It's a 1 or a 1.5. I mean, have you been to the DMV? Have you been to the Secretary of State?
Yeah.
Like, these people don't waste money. How many guys does it take to hold a shovel? Apparently 4 if they're from the government. I mean, you know, it's intellectual. They're intellectually dishonest people. They can't call a spade a spade. They can't call it, you know.
Yeah, I hear
I'm
you.
sick of intellectually dishonest people. I've had it.
Well,
that's what all these complainers are. They're just
might as well get used to it. You may have had it, but you're going to get used to it because you have to, because that's what's out there.
No, see, here's what used to happen is people that had stupid thoughts and stupid ideas, you know, if you were in the park and you're together and they start saying that stupid stuff, well, see, they just get punched in the face, they'd shut up and lose their lesson. Today, we give soapboxes to insane people so they can communicate to more.
Yeah.
Now,
All right.
2 days are done. We're over. But that's what I got for you. So,
Good
you
enough.
know, at least people be even out there.
Take care. Have a good
You
one,
got
Sean.
it.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye now. All right, 10:45 here on WSGW. Time for more calls at 989-752-6111.
We're proud to make
back in the last few minutes. We'll get as many calls in as we can. And Carl is with us in Saginaw. Carl, good morning.
Good morning, Art. You said a few minutes ago the Democrats haven't learned their lesson. Well, there was just a special election in Pennsylvania recently. And, a district that went for Trump by like 20 points, they just elected a Democrat in that district.
One local election does not make a national politic.
No, it doesn't. But I think it could be a sign of what's coming. You had a caller saying, what's the harm that Elon Musk is doing, firing these employees? Well, the harm, Art, is, when you call the Social Security office because you're having a problem with your benefits and you find out you're like 200, on the list, you get your call answered. Yeah, then you're gonna have second thoughts about maybe firing all these people, and what they're doing to the veterans, the VA, firing all the people there. That's gonna back up services. It's gonna degrade services.
Well,
There's just no question about it.
We'll see.
Okay.
I mean, it depends. It depends. The answer to that is it depends how bloated they were to start. If they weren't bloated, then you're right. Then it's cutting the meat. If they were bloated, it won't have any impact.
I used to take my father to the VA hospital in Saginaw, and he got his medicine there. He got his checkups there.
Yeah.
And he was always treated well.
Yeah.
I didn't see a bunch of employees sitting around just smoking cigarettes or talking or watching TV. I saw everybody working.
Yeah, but are those the employees that were released recently? I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, well, then we can't talk about it. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know.
As far as name calling, Art, your guy, Trump, just called the editor of The Atlantic. He called him a scumbag on TV yesterday.
I know. Listen, I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with that either. However, that's the one guy doing it who I've always said I'd never liked his mouth and don't like his mouth, as opposed to a party doing it who lost an election because of it and haven't learned their lesson.
A bunch of the cabinet also said the same thing about that editor.
You're going to try to justify it.
Who
won the election? Who won the election and why? Who won the election and why?
Well, who won the election in Michigan?
Trump.
Granholm did. No, Granholm did in Michigan. So
Granholm, what's she running for? What's Granholm running?
What's
Granholm running for?
Well, what's Trump running for?
Well, what's Granholm got to do with it? She didn't run for anything.
Well, you brought it up. You were talking about Granholm.
I never mentioned Granholm once. Whitmer, maybe.
You were talking about Granholm 5 minutes ago.
I was not.
And is her not appointing a Senate? Do
you know who? Excuse me, Carl. Carl. Do you know who the governor of the state is? It's not Granholm. It's Whitmer.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Whitmer.
That's a big deal, isn't
Whitmer.
it? All right.
Excuse me.
All right.
But, okay.
All right. Good enough.
I'm sorry.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye now. And we have Cheryl in St. Charles. Cheryl, good morning.
Good morning. What's your opinion of all the cuts they're making to the VA? They've cut services so they can't. The bus that goes to pick up the disabled veteran to take him to his appointment, they don't have drivers now.
My opinion
so the guy can't get.
My opinion is, if there's one organization I wouldn't touch, it's the VA. Veterans deserve the best of treatment, and I don't believe there should be deep cuts to the VA. Now, if there's bloating, if there's excess, use a scalpel, don't use a hatchet. I think in many cases they're going too far and they're going to have to back up.
I mean, they're canceling surgeries because they don't have people